Yeah,
think he
the
mistook
cheese.
it for the Pokemon. You know what a hard task it is to make the return of Luke work without using John Williams music?
Yeah, bell buckle
That bitch
Tennessee.
that bullied me in elementary school, that fucking hoe.
Did I steal that?
Fucking blasting active Liz.
Why she Filoni is in love with G.I. Joe.
I don't know if we're supposed to like this character. Absolutely hate her. Personally, I want him to stay way, way away from Star Wars. So we're not even going to talk about the rest of the series on a whole. Hello. What's up, everybody? We're back with the crew of Late Night. It has been far too long. My brother, my sister, you are back. How does it feel?
Hello there.
That music was very loud, by the way.
I love it, man. That's Vivaldi. God, I love Vivaldi.
Vivaldi's one of my favorites.
Of course,
Yeah.
it's a classic, but it was just... Yeah, what's up, guys?
How are y'all?
Did I make the music way too loud in that?
Yeah,
It was loud.
just a smidge.
It was loud.
It was quite powerful.
I have auditory issues. I'm like, yeah, I don't know, but I you know what? Look, I thought it was cool. Okay.
No, it was great. It was great.
Thanks.
I loved that version very
Scratch
much.
my back.
So thanks for
Yeah,
that.
scratch my
Thanks
back.
for that.
Thanks. What's up, chat? Hello, everybody.
You got to show our names on the thing. I have a special name tonight.
Oh, okay. All right. What do we got here? Thick Thrawn.
Oh, here we go.
Oh,
Hashtag not my Thrawn. This is my Thrawn.
oh man.
You already know the topic of discussion for tonight.
You should put hashtag 70-year-old Thrawn. Come on now.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there. I got
Yeah,
plans.
we're gonna talk about that tonight. We're gonna talk about that a little bit. I'll get a little bit of music going. We'll get settled in. Say what's up to the chat. Hello, everybody. I see all my members in here kicking it. We see a couple new people hanging out. It's good to see you guys. Captain Fordo said Thrawn was looking pretty caked up. He was thick. But I sympathize, man.
Escarnoti. It's all. It's on the
Boo. Don't start that.
What's on the bell?
I don't know,
Come
man.
on.
Yeah, the boy's been eating good in isolation. I'll tell you that much.
He's
been
eating a lot
good.
of Pergo, as Felicity said.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Paul Blunt already popping in with a super chat. 279 says, once you go blue. What?
You know.
You never go back?
It doesn't rhyme though. Once you go
It doesn't.
blue.
Yeah, that
Paul's
doesn't
always on his own planet. It's all good.
Well, welcome back to Earth. It's good to see you. So, Star Wars fans everywhere, good to see you guys. By the way, we got Thrawn in live action this week. I think we got a lot to talk about. We could probably did we want to pull up the episode and then just like run through it?
Yeah.
I mean, we can hit some key points really quick.
X-Wing, it's a 10 out of 10. I could watch it over and
Oh,
over.
10 out of 10.
Your mouth.
Oh, yeah, 10 out of 10. I love it when people give that rating. 10 out of 10. It's perfect. Like,
You shut your mouth.
are you sure it's 10 out of 10? Are you sure?
Are you sure about that?
Are you sure? Because 10 out of 10 means like my mortgage is paid for the rest of my life. I never have to watch anything ever again. That's 10 out of 10.
Game of Thrones season like 1 through 3, 10 out of 10 kind of thing, you know? That's 10 out of 10 to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying X-Wing backstage before you joined, Nikki. You know, for me, if I give something a 9, right, for me, that's like one of my most favorite things that I love to recommend and I really enjoy. For me, a 10 is blemish free, right? It couldn't be no better if God Almighty came down from on high and said, let's make these improvements. But did you guys notice when the helmets were coming through at the beginning, they were made the purgle noises?
I'm over the stupid helmet
realize that.
intro. I'm done with it.
Behind
I watch
that was the purgle noises. Was the
I always
noise.
watch it every time because
Was it the
usually
whale
they throw
noises that Dory does?
They throw some. What?
You know, Dory.
Just like,
Star Wars.
you're on their way to die. Let them make the noise behind the helmets. For
We didn't
crying
know
out
that yet.
loud.
No, I always watch the helmets because they throw little clues in there every time they do the helmets.
Do they? They don't throw
Yeah,
No,
dude,
they
they're always
don't.
throwing. They're
Oh,
always
it's
throwing people in
America's
there.
blue, which must mean that blue former Jedi Ezra question
Nikki,
mark.
I prefer you address him by his proper name of Star Killer. Please don't call him
shut up.
that.
Galen Merrick.
Call him Stark.
Mr. Fisto.
Mephisto.
Keep moving.
So episode starts out, we get a wildly different hyperspace, right? I immediately think of Marvel and like Thor's hyperspace jump. Doesn't it look just like Thor's hyperspace jump?
When you said it, I was like, damn, it does. But I liked it. I am a hashtag Purgle sympathizer, so I love anything with the Purgle.
And interestingly enough, which I guess it's not super interesting actually, but the Eye of Sion's hyperspace is the same coloration.
Yeah. Could it be the galaxy thing?
Different galaxy going at an excessive speed. Combination of the two things. But if you looked at the Eye of Sion from their vantage point as they're in the tunnel, it's also the multicolor variety.
Mm-hmm. And when they took off too, it was a little bit like that. So
yeah,
maybe this is just what hyperspace is now.
It was a little, for me, it was a little too warpy, right? As a Star Trek fan, when they took off, I'm kind of like, and even my mom was like, did they go to warp speed? And I'm like, well, not on purpose.
They went to ludicrous speed is what they did.
Ludicrous speed.
That is ludicrous speed right there.
They've gone plaid, right?
Oh, he's already here. John Graber.
Love you, John.
Oh, John.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. I will say this off the top. I know I was very low on this episode. On rewatch, you know what I noticed? If you just keep Thrawn at the headshots just from the chest up, Lars is great.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that.
The bowling pin shows up. But all right.
The bowling pin. Oh my boy, I'm sorry. He's getting all the hate that freaking Boba Fett got, man.
He's got big pants, right? He's ready to
those pantaloons from freaking Dathomir Jr.
Yeah.
So I did have a question for you guys in this scene. This is mainly internet bull crap, but when Huyang talks about history of the world, part 1, 2, and 3, I asked you guys this yesterday about how could that be referring to the trilogies, or do you think that's just something within the temple? Because people were saying, oh, part 1, 2, and 3, 1 being the prequels, 2 the OT.
So I took it as he's telling the same stories again that Balin keeps referencing that he heard also in the temple when he was training in the temple. I get the impression, and also they're juxtaposing the whole C-3PO. I've never been much of a storyteller to Huyang. I'm the storyteller, right? But I think he's legitimately telling stories about the galaxy they're going to, and they're trying to bring those things together. Because Balin's like, all right, the stories seem to be true. I'm even more excited to be here now. We still don't know why, because we never heard the damn story yet. But I took it as you're actually telling an in-universe, this galaxy story.
Oh, no. Didn't you hear Huyang a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away? My heart audibly creaked when I heard that. I hated it more than I could possibly tell you. Filoni is the king of on the nose. He should be a boxer. He hits the nose so hard every time he does.
Here's my caveat. I didn't mind it only because it came from Huyang. If it would have come from anybody else, I would have been suck my. You know what I'm saying? But since Huyang is as old as the Jedi, I guess you could level that. It would be him to say something like that, and the fact that they're going to another galaxy. That's my least of my worries with this fucking episode.
So X-Men, what'll make you cringe even more.
Oh, I don't. But I'm already at maximum cringe.
But you'll love it. You'll love it, right? Because while it's celebration, they bring everyone out on that stage, right? They have the panel, and then they bring them out on the stage where Ariel or Baver, whoever's there at the microphone for the 5 minutes on the what we call that main stage, the celebrations. What I'm talking about. So they bring Filoni out, and whoever's interviewing him was like, "Come on, can you give us something?" And I think they either asked, "Can you tell us where Thrawn is, or where Ezra is?" One or the other, I forget which one. And Dave's like, I can tell you one thing. You know where he is?
In a galaxy far, far away.
Far, far away.
Gay.
I'll be honest with you. That doesn't bother me anywhere near as much as a character in a Star Wars project saying a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. No, you're not allowed to do that. Retract it. Take the episode back. Cut that part out. Just say something else. Just be like, it was a fucking long time ago, and we're going to talk about some shit that happened.
Hey, a long time ago, and you know what I'm saying? That's what you should have said, right?
I get where you're
coming from. In West Carisor, it's not born and raised.
I get where you're coming from, X-Wing, but I guess I also gave it a pass because it was Huyang, and it felt like and this is going to be a really stupid thing to say, but of all the characters they seem to have developed under the context of this series, they seem to have developed Huyang the most.
That is funny.
Huyang
and Chopper have the most emotions in these freaking episodes.
The two droids, Huyang and Chopper, and then the people who have basically nothing to do with the story at this point, Baylan and Shin, are like my favorite, absolutely my favorite. And yes. I'm still shocked that these Disney writers were able to create a compelling character, and Baylan and Shin fit in Star Wars. Like, I'm sorry, hate me all you want.
Know, this is something I wanted to bring up later, but I'll just say it now. It's funny how the one thing that Rebels fans and non-Rebels fans can agree on is that they love Baylan and Shin, and I wonder why that is. They're brand new characters, no backstory, nothing that they have to hold them accountable for. We're just learning about them, and I think it's hilarious. You compare those two; they're talked about more than Ahsoka herself in the show, at least from what I've seen.
Yeah,
so, well, that's very telling.
In some ways, at least, I equate it to, in analogy, I equate it to some of what they were able to accomplish in Rogue One, right? Because they set up some of those characters in Rogue One, and we sort of were able to develop some affinity for their situation and everything because they were well written, and to some extent, some of the characters in Andor, like Luthen and some of the rest of these, because they not only do they have the gravitas and presentation, but they have that mysterious quality about them.
Yeah,
and the things that they say, you're like, okay, he's saying something. I'm paying attention.
Yeah, so people are listening when they speak, as opposed to like, I'm sure that what this character says has no fucking bearing on the rest of the show, so I really don't care what they say, which I think is the general attitude towards most of what's going on. And that's why it's tough, because we've had this argument for so long. Do we want new characters, or do we want to rehash old characters? Well, obviously,
that's no argument. Come on, I think we've all been saying new ones, because clearly, look how everybody's gravitated towards Baylan and Shin. And something interesting about them that I know, like the Lucas faithful, I know the Filoni faithful is a term that Melvin is coining, but the George faithful, right? They say no such thing as Grey Jedi, no such thing as blah blah blah. But you know what the audio description calls Baylan and Shin? False Jedi. That's false, like Filoni's Jedi. Mm-hmm, that's Filoni's way of skirting around the word of gray.
Gray Jedi.
And the other interesting thing about this, and again, I don't want to get mired up in is Shin a Jedi? I mean, is Sabine a Jedi or not? But the witch's reaction, Baylan, Shin, and Sabine, all three were standing together, and they said,
"It reeks of Jedi." Yeah.
Meaning Sabine reeks of Jedi, and then they're standing there, and it's later disclosed that Baylan at one time was a Jedi, and they look very confused. Right? They look like it never occurred to them.
Baylan had a look on his face when they said that, though, that it reeks of Jedi. He kind of looked like, oh, shit. Yeah, so I don't think it was Sabine. Maybe Sabine hugged Ahsoka, and she smells like her, and they're like the freaking vampires from Twilight. You smell like dog.
Better hang on, little spider monkey. Gatekeepers Daimyo for $9.99 says, "Here's to a great stream, guys. Love y'all. Thank you, my brother. Thank you for being here. We're glad to see you."
Yeah, so to me, it's sort of a reinforcement that whatever they are, and even you heard Baylan say, "I trained you to be more than that." He identified the Boken Jedi. So
yeah, I didn't catch that on the first watch. I wonder how many people did on the first watch. And I was like, "Oh, broken
Jedi."
Bokken Jedi, meaning, and it was mentioned under the context of Ezra, meaning in his eyes, they weren't trained in the temple, and Sabine was literally trained with the Bokken, and remember Ezra was not, and Hera was always very concerned by this, right? Because he's like, you're training with the real lightsaber, please be, I mean, there was some funniness there, but Baylan was like, Bridger's he's not a properly trained Jedi. He's a Bokken Jedi, and I think
what did that mean again? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that means like some form of training, right?
So Bokken is a false sword used for training.
It's a wood stick that looks like a katana.
But in this context, it means they're trained in the ways of the Jedi without the structure being in place, without it being a formal training, like more of an informal introduction.
It's like GAT for high school, basically.
Yeah, there you go.
You got it, right? And so I think I think this is very attractive to Shin now. If you've watched Shin, every time first time she encountered Sabine and realized she was a Padawan like herself who was not trained officially, now she's learned of Ezra. It wouldn't be surprising to me if we see yet Shin somehow teaming up with those two and doing something.
They're definitely setting Shin up to be more on the light side than Baylan is.
I got in trouble for my tweet today.
What tweet?
I was emulating you, Nikki. There was a clip of the two of them looking on the looking at each other on the ship. Like, oh wow, did you catch the look between those two? So I just retweeted it with a pair of scissors on top.
Absolutely, you know what's coming.
So Framinator says bring in new characters. If they were able to nail it like they did with those three, out of all the new characters that they've done, but Luthen, Baylan, and Shin, 100% down. Let's go.
I saw KG mention that Baylan is kind of the Luthen of this series, right? Not only in presentation, but if you think about what Luthen was trying to do in Andor,
by any means necessary,
Baylan is kind of, we think now, trying to do something very extreme and something very similar in this series. So I'm sure there's some purposeful analogy there in the way the characters are written, and it resonates.
I can't find the clip I was looking for, but we're going to give you something a little special here tonight, okay? Raider just dropped 50 with a dragon. What does that even mean? That's the second time you dropped
no
a
one
$50
knows what it means.
super chat, and I don't know what you're saying, but dang, man, thank you. And for that, I've heard there's a concerted effort at Lucasfilm to try to increase revenue. And they're having some trouble bringing that revenue in. So they did open up a new service, and I have a first look at the advertisement for that new service. So if you guys just bear with me, let's go ahead and watch this.
Hey, even Wookiees need a little love. Have you ever heard a Wookiee's fantasy? You don't want to make her angry. Or do you? Call now at 1-900.
Why would you punish him for donating to you? What the freak was that? Now I'm disturbed.
It's definitely something you can't unsee once you've seen it one time.
That looks like an uncut version of the holiday special from when Chewie's dad was watching porn from his couch.
Just a higher quality.
The 6 nipple covers on the female Wookiee just sent me, bro.
Sorry, Raider 3. We didn't mean to punish you for your kindness.
Raider, no, you're welcome for that.
Benjamin, that was hot.
Don't play that, please, when I'm on your stream, because I might throw up next time.
Ooh, punishment. Play it again.
That was the second time I've seen it, Nikki, and I can confirm it's every bit as
what
wonderful.
What the freak is that?
John Phillips just ripped my arms off. I'm sorry, dude. When I saw that, I lost it, man. I lost it. I could not contain myself.
Bro, let's get back to the episode before I completely just check out mentally.
I'm sorry. I'm crying. That shit is so funny to me. Okay, so anyways, Sabine. Do you guys want to talk about this?
No,
nobody gives a shit about Sabine. So they come out of hyperspace. We find out that this planet that they're circling.
Play when they come out of hyperspace, please. That's actually one of the few cool
it's
looking
like
things. Yeah.
It's a big boom.
The colors are here.
Disney's
the colors. Yeah, they are doing the colors. Bam.
That looked cool.
And that's again, it has that coming out of warp effect, right? For the Trekkies, Trekkies and stuff. That was a little bit too, for me, a little bit too close.
That's
why you don't watch Star Trek, Matt. That's why you stay unblemished like me. I don't know anything about Star Trek.
I really kind of prefer like the phase in of old when it came to
like
coming
Matt
out
and
of
I
hyperspace.
speculated. I think it has to do with the galaxy thing. To be honest, I think that's.
And
what
also, I think they're going so fast. I think they're
Yeah.
going so much faster than normal that because the voiceover lady was something she made it a point to say slowing down the particles or whatever. It was obviously there was somebody put thought behind that, and I think it has to do with velocity.
Jesus, John, aren't
Oh,
you a
John is
pastor?
amazing.
Come on, man.
Not on the internet.
Come on, man. So yeah, they come out of hyperspace, and then I thought this was, you know what? Honestly, I thought it was kind of creative. I thought it was cool that this ring around this Saturnish looking planet was all the bones of the Purgle, and they basically
the music kind of played there. I was like, oh, this is.
It's funny because one thing I've noticed when I review this with Felicity, the most like positives I have for these episodes so far have been the visuals. And I think there was a lot of cool visuals here, like the bones of the Purgle around the planet. I thought that was pretty clever and dark.
This looked good.
Yeah,
this looked
I
good.
can't wait to see the Chimera dock in that. That would look cool. That's what's about to happen. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I've been saying.
Ships, yeah, I said ring around the Chimera from the beginning too, right? But the ship's looking a little rough. It's looking a little.
You gotta patch it up. That ship flew through different galaxies attached by Purgle ass hairs. I imagine that it has some fixing to do.
A little tired.
Then Filoni has a big chub, if that's what you're
Oh
saying.
no!
Don't compliment him too much.
Hey, this is a family channel. No, it's not.
Since when?
Yeah. It's not. So we land on the planet.
By the way, this shuttlecraft, it's almost identical to the ornithopter in the David Lynch Dune.
This whole episode was like a Dune fan film to me, to be honest. That's
People
the
were
first thing I
saying
thought
that
of.
in my chat during the
Yeah,
watch.
today,
They're
yeah,
like,
it's
yep, looks
very-
like it.
And they've got a little bit of Lord of the Rings thrown in here, right, with the statues and the way they ride out of the place. I mean, it's a lot of things. It's a lot of things.
Which I understand too. I know some people aren't a fan of the gold and the look, but if they're going to a different galaxy, they have to try to make it look very different from the galaxy we know. So I get it. The gold, it's all silver and white in the current galaxy. They have to do something that makes it look a little different. Plus, they're going to like a freaking zombie planet with these Party City Dathomir witches, so they got to make it
Party City Dathomir witches. What the fuck?
Yeah, dude.
And their names were disclosed in the credits, and they're named after the fates, right? So they have very specific names that speak to reanimation, the prolonging of life, and
Do you know what they are? The names?
Lachesis. Their names I can't pronounce, but I looked it up because it's like these names have to be very specifically chosen. And it turns out they are. And fun fact, I think, a couple of the actresses are from Stargate. Right. And one of the actresses who's playing one of these witches played the Borg Queen in the Picard series.
Yeah, one of them in the back. Her name was, oh, crud. Yeah, I was reading about it earlier today. Unfortunately, I don't remember.
I was like,
Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Sorry. Yeah.
None of them are Talzin, right? None of them. That's probably another reason why they wanted to name them, but none of them are Talzin.
You know what my problem with this is? You know what I saw someone say after this episode? Oh, what if they revive Ventress? I'm like, bro, please. Please. No one's ever really gone. I get it, but some people need to just stay gone.
No one's ever really gone. I get it. Yeah. I don't know. I thought so. For me, this is okay.
I didn't have any issue with them either. Yeah,
this is okay.
Whatever. Yeah.
I'm fine with that. So, like, this as a Night Sister makes a shitload more sense than Morgan Elsbeth from fucking North Dakota, right? Like, she drives me nuts. I'm sorry. I'm not a fan of this character.
She's like an NPC. She's a MacGuffin.
It's a Skyrim level amount of interaction that you
get.
For a
MacGuffin, she has an awful lot to do with it. But my bigger issue is with, I guess, in a way, almost with the whole planet. But with this very specifically, there are only 3 left, I guess. We're led to believe that there are only these 3.
And we don't.
Morgan.
And the catacombs full of who knows what.
Oh, we'll get there.
So I go back to, has it just been the 3 of them and Thrawn and Enoch for? Has it just been the 3 of them for forever?
Has it been like 10 years or something?
Well, so here's what I think, right? Because we've made this point, or you guys made this point about how does the Chimera fit perfectly? Why? How does it? I think these three witches and this whole thing was part of a prophecy, and they planned for Thrawn to show up. And so all of this was built, and all of this
It seems that way because they said the dream thing, right? Yeah.
all of this happened with express understanding that this moment would come, and for whatever reason, these would be the only three witches that are left. So I'm kind of like, and yes, we know that. Where does 10 years come from, right? How do we extrapolate that it's
That's a
been
huge problem I have. But
10 years? Well, if we acknowledge that this is happening sometime during the Mandoverse and put Jon Favreau's foolishness on Book of Boba Fett and all that to the side, we know that's at least 9 years after A New Hope. We know Thrawn and Ezra got taken away just before A New Hope. So it has to be 9 or 10 years, at least in our universe, that they've been here.
Right.
And that also brings me to my next question, the Shadow Council. So I'm assuming all of this happens during Mando season 3, but before the finale, or there's a spy in the New Republic that told Captain Pelion that Thrawn's return is imminent, because this would mean that.
I think it's a line. I think Pelion has been saying for 10 years, he's coming back.
He's covering for Thrawn.
Gideon is finally like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You've been saying this for 10 years.
Yeah.
Where is he? Don't just keep telling me he's coming back. And Pelion's just been, he's coming back.
By the way, just again, I have so many problems with this, but from a visual standpoint, like, this is hot to me.
Yeah.
I like this.
A good job.
I like this. I like this a lot. Now, again,
But
what happens next is interesting.
you don't want to touch the conversation Balin and Shin had right before this. That he talks about
Yeah, I do.
the cycle
really
of the
wanna talk about that.
Empire, the Jedi, the Empire, the New Republic. It's like a
Let's see if I
cycle.
can find it. Man, I thought right there I was about to be so pissed.
They keep teasing it. You know what's happening in the finale. dude.
And you know it's gonna happen,
He's
dude.
gonna move that fucking cup on Ahsoka ship is what's gonna happen. The last shot.
So, Balin and Shin, God, I fucking love Shin. I'm sorry, like, I'm a big fan of Shin.
You can
And
fix her?
legitimately, it is not that I have like, it is not like an attractive thing at all. I just think she's like perfectly suited for that role. I don't know what it is. She just seems like
She
the
has an
right
accent,
amount of
too.
crazy, the right amount of and like, I still firmly believe everyone in Star Wars should have an accent. If they sound
Mhm.
like they're from California, it's fucked up. It's wrong. But these two, like, this dynamic between these two, I really freaking enjoy it. And now you've got Balin talking about, like, what are you really searching for? You know, Shin's like, what are we after here? And I've said this for a while. I think he's after Abeloth, because he's talking about basically the Great Reset. So he's referencing all these different issues that have happened over so many generations of Jedi. Every single time the cycle repeats itself, it's rinse and repeat. We can end it and we can do something new. And I think Abeloth is the key there.
What makes you think that Filoni cares about the EU that much that he would pull that from there?
I don't think he gives a shit about the EU. And that's one of the reasons I dislike him the way that I do. But I should take that back. That's not what I meant to say. I don't think he gives a shit about the continuity of the EU. I think he likes the EU. I don't think he gives a shit about the continuity of the EU. Because to him, you know, he functions off of that level that George had, basically tiers of canon, right? There were tiers in the books, there were tiers in the TV shows, and there were tiers in the movies, and then there was like basically comics was all the way at the ass end of that. And so I think he wants to bring that stuff into live action, but he really doesn't give a shit about the continuity of the expanded universe. So if he sees something he likes, he sees that as a sandbox he can just pull from, and damn the continuity.
So here's my thing, really quick. I'll just make this point. I think people are giving these theories too much credit. It's fun to speculate, right? But it's not going to be that serious. And this kind of ties into my opinion about the whole Mortis gods theory that they're going to introduce. It's too much. If you really are trying to appeal to the normie audience, can you imagine introducing Abeloth to the army audience, let alone the Mortis. I don't think it's gonna be that.
There's so
crazy.
much shit you have to explain that goes along with Abeloth for it to make sense, because people are gonna be like, "What? There's just like literal fucking demon gods now in Star Wars."
He pulled Thrawn from the EU because it was easy to adapt. If you look at Thrawn, like the way Filoni probably does, he's an imposing Grand Admiral, but Abeloth is a whole different.
And for me, it's even simpler than that, right? I don't think Filoni would go to Abeloth without somehow trying to work in the Mortis gods first.
Right? I think that's what he's headed to.
I don't think so. I think it's none of the above.
Whoa.
If he does, it won't be till next season, to be honest. There's too much.
Don't ever bring that kind of shit back in my chat again. George Lucas is Star Wars, man. What do you mean I hold on to Star Wars too much? Get out of here. I love you, Wizard.
And part of the reason why I don't think he's going the Mortis God arc way here is because I think he probably feels like that arc has played itself out. So I don't propose to understand what it is exactly Baylan is looking for, and also I think it's interesting that he hasn't explained it to Shin. So there's another reason why I think she may continue to grow distrustful of him and his motivations. But whatever I
playing at, Rispin, you think she's gonna take him out?
I
don't think she's gonna take him out necessarily, but I think unless he starts doing some explaining really quickly,
I think she's gonna turn.
She's gonna find some new friends and sort of be like, I don't know what you're all about, but I feel like I can grow more with these folks that are like me, because I've never had anyone who's like me around. But I think whatever he's after, it's clearly here. I think his whole motivation was to get to Peridia once he realized it was a possibility. Although now that I say that, I don't think he realized at the outset that they were going to Peridia until Morgan disclosed it. So it goes back to perhaps he wants something that he knows Thrawn has. And the only thing I keep going back to is the ruins of that temple that are apparently still on the Chimera.
Let's hit the arrival of retired in West Palm Beach Thrawn.
Yeah, we gotta hit a couple super chats really quick. I'm sorry, member chats. A member and a super. Framinator member for 2 months says it's basically Dave putting more samurai bullshit into Star Wars. That's one of my biggest gripes with Dave, I would say, is like the overtly heavy-handed samurai stuff. Again, people, every time I have this argument, they say, George was inspired by Akira Kurosawa. Like, yeah, show me the samurai in any of his movies.
Inspired and copied are two different things.
Exactly. You got to have a little bit of nuance. So that's what I really don't like when he starts to bring in Boken and all that different kind of stuff. But Framinator, thank you so much. Good to see you. Captain Fordo for $5 says, who do you think dies in the season? Still not a fan of the show, but live action Thrawn was dope, or AKA Thick Thrawn. Well, we're going to talk about that in a second here. Because I think we're all...
Who dies?
Ooh, who dies? Hopefully Sabine.
I think neither Baylan nor Shin die, actually.
You know what? I was thinking about that, and you're probably right, because they know what they had at the time with Ray Stevenson and Baylan. So maybe...
And that makes his passing all the more, not that his passing wasn't already, so tragic, but it makes it even more tragic that I think there was probably a future for him to continue the character.
I think if you did a test screening for this entire season and people watched it, they'd be like, we need fucking Baylan everywhere. Like, we need to do some... I guarantee test screenings were like, Baylan and Shin is a fucking thing. You got something going here.
I think everyone's favorite candidate to die seems to be Sabine. Right. Every time that I have a conversation with folks,
George ain't fucking killing her, bro.
What do you think is gonna die? They're like, God, I hope it's Sabine. She's so annoying.
Yeah, she's
this show would just be on a different level if Sabine wasn't around. I'm sorry, and especially this episode, her bitching back and forth between her and that dog rat thing.
Pokemon.
But I will say I thought her and Thrawn's interaction was near perfect, right? So as annoying as she has,
yes, I agree with that. Yeah,
the interchange between, I'm like, all right, now I'm legitimately watching an episode of Rebels, right? If I, just the way
I'll give you that. Yeah. My favorite Thrawn moment from this episode was when Balin tells him, "Oh, Sabine Wren," and he's like, "Ah, yes, that's a familiar name." I'm like, that is such a Thrawn like moment right there.
So
hold on, really quick, because I got to play a video real quick for everybody who member chatted and super chatted. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I'm gonna play this. I got to use the little boys' room, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about this thick boy. Yeah. But finish whatever you're going to say as soon as this is over. Thank you so much, Chatters community. I love you guys. Thank you. This is for you.
You said clipped. I forget I'm on the fucking internet.
So I saw there not only did King's Advisors give 20 memberships, but it looks like Ryan Kennel became one of the newest X-Wing channel members.
I still don't know how that works. Like, who those gifted memberships go to? How does the algorithm determine it? Is it by live chatting or subscriptions?
Some degree of some algorithm that's keeping track of your overall activity in the in the stream and all of that. So what I was going to say about this, that after reflecting on it, didn't occur to me at the time that it happened. There isn't, with the exception of Enoch, there isn't one officer here.
Yeah.
They're all
dead.
They're all these night troopers, and Enoch and Thrawn. I don't know who's flying the ship. Maybe Thrawn is, for all I know. But you know what I mean? It's so, this whole situation here is very eerie, and it's reinforced when later on when he pulls the whole, well, go after Sabine and we'll reinforce you with some troops, and Morgan wants to send more, and he's like, we ain't got more. It's like, I'll send what I can send, but I don't know if you see what's going on here, but it's not much going on, right? She kind of looked at him a little bit weirdly.
I see people speculating hard about these troopers, but I think the answer is very simple. The ones with the red ribbons are clearly like undead, and Enoch is probably alive, or maybe he's like half alive, or some weird ass like magic combination. But he doesn't have the red stuff, so
yeah. And so the because I always watch with the captioning and the audio lady talking as well. She made it a point to say, as that was panning through, he's we see Thrawn walking, and he's surrounded by a legion of his troops, all wrapped in the same fabric as the Night Sisters are wearing. So I think it's a very eerie prospect, and that's why they're chanting Thrawn, 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 Thrawn. And so I think it's a very eerie prospect, again, that he's spent some amount of...
It's a cool concept. I'm just waiting to see the execution of this thing, because if I'm going to be charitable, which for everybody watching, I am going to be charitable, so I don't go full Sith on this episode. Thrawn making the best of his circumstances is obviously a very Thrawn thing to do. Like, if he sees an opportunity, because what bested him in Rebels was the idea that he had no idea to expect some space whales that Ezra was going to summon through the Force. His downfall, even kind of in the EU, he underestimated the Force and magic and all this other stuff. So him fully learning that lesson and taking advantage of the Night Sister magic here, it makes sense. And the concept is cool for Thrawn to have this army of undead soldiers, but is it gonna
undead? What?
All the night troopers that have that red ribbon, they're all dead, dude. That's Night Sister magic wrapped around them. Enoch is the only one.
None of these troops are alive. Enoch, I think, is a cyborg, but these troops are not alive.
Whoa.
The subtitles call them night troopers. They all have that red ribbon wrapped around them.
Hold the fuck on. Can we take a step back here for a second? They're all dead.
Undead.
Well, not quite.
They teased it.
Only mostly dead.
X-Wing, if you want to put yourself in the mind of Disney and simple storytelling, Merrick, they teased that with Merrick already. That he was undead. He just turned into smoke. So they're teasing you with the Night Sister magic that they're capable of doing something like that. And he's been there for 10 years. Like, they're not all going to be alive. Are you kidding me?
And this is why there are no officers, right?
Yeah.
So again, I'm not trying to paint an overly sympathetic picture for Thrawn necessarily, but if you just take a step back and we're right about this situation, he's been surviving with companionship of 3 witches, a cyborg, and a legion of zombies for some amount of time. A planet of Nodi and Ezra.
Dude,
Yeah.
I feel like so much is. I just took a pee. I feel like so much
we
has
were-
happened
okay.
since I left.
We were just talking about the stormtroopers, and I thought that if I wanted to be charitable, like Thrawn would absolutely make the best of his situation, and he underestimated the Force and the magic stuff the last time we saw him. So him fully becoming allies with the Night Sisters makes sense to me from that aspect, because he never wants to be caught off guard again. That's why in the end of the episode, he asked Morgan to be like, "Tell me about her master, everything. I want to know like all this Force stuff," and he asks for their help again. But yeah, the whole red ribbon around them, I think, is a dead giveaway that they're clearly intertwined with Night Sister shit.
And the coffins, right? I don't know the cargo.
I think you know what I think
or
those
the
are.
catacombs.
If you've played Fallen Order and you went to Dathomir and they had those like banshee looking things, I think that's what those are.
Same.
But bro, just to like, holy crap, to go to like undead stormtroopers and witches and all of this shit, like it's so fast. We're moving too quickly. I feel like I need to be brought into this.
Yeah.
That's a lot, dude.
So
That's a lot.
Honest question for you, X-Wing. Is this the first time you're potentially realizing that these could be undead stormtroopers and that's what the situation is, or did you get it from the episode?
Yeah, did
I
it
did
cross your
not
mind
get
at
that
all?
from the episode. No. So like, and look, I'm not the perfect Star Wars fan, okay? And I know that, we've gotten books about, basically undead story. This is not something that's new to Star Wars, right? The undead trooper is not new to Star Wars. But having it just like immediately thrown right at you, and then now you realize like you got it's just a lot. I don't know. And I don't know that I'm a huge fan of it, really.
It's so eerie, right? And the music sort of supports the eeriness, the chanting, the fact that they're called night troopers, they're in limited supply. There's only one pseudo boss. And the rest of it and the rest of the ship is
the Night Sisters basically the most powerful people in the galaxy because they could just resurrect people left and right, upside down and sideways, and have a never-ending army.
And that's again, these 3 Night Sisters very specifically seem to be that triumvirate. Their names would indicate that this is their thing. I can't say this is all, although we've seen some evidence of reanimation, even with the Night Sisters who used the green magic, right, back in our galaxy, whether it was bringing Maul back or doing the stuff with his brother,
making Savage all big and beastie and all that stuff.
All of that stuff. So it's not completely unheard of on this magnitude. It probably speaks to, again, their age, their proficiency, maybe something about the planet. So for me, I'm kind of like, so if they do ring around the Chimera and bring this all back, I think he has to bring them with him. I think that's his plan. I got the impression they're coming too.
I don't like this idea so much. Like, it's just a spell. The spell can be broken, and that's what they're gonna have to do. They're gonna have to break the Night Sister spell to stop Thrawn. Like, so here's my problem right now. At least up to this point, they're really just setting Thrawn up as like a discount villain. Like, he's just a Disney villain.
Mustachio twirling.
Yeah, you got a problem with that or what?
You know what I mean? Grand Inquisitor vibes from Kenobi.
Yeah.
I think we need to hold that thought, because so far I think we have some evidence that might not be the case, right? And I think he's begun to act in a particular way in this situation because Sabine came back with them unexpectedly. And also because I think he wasn't really up to speed on exactly Balin and Shin's deal. So I think he's been getting information from the Night Sisters here, these 3 Night Sisters.
But the Night Sisters proved that they don't see everything. Like they didn't
Exactly.
see Balin coming. They didn't see Ahsoka coming till like the last minute. They didn't see Sabine coming. So I think that's the idea.
So I think he's now beginning to act in a way that's not to his plan. I think there's been a lot of talk about.
Yeah, this looks like a recalculation.
He's been there for 10 years. Why didn't he go after Ezra? And
fascinating.
I'm kind of like, why would he have? Right? Ezra wasn't bothering him. He wasn't bothering Ezra. They were staying out of each other's way, it appears.
They were borrowing cups of sugar from each other, Matt. They were camping out.
Oh God.
Okay, let's go back to the sequential order. I'm gonna address the elephant in the room. Thrawn's physique. And I know people were giving me shit.
You know what? You're so shallow, Nikki.
Listen, people were giving me shit on my review. Guys, he's older and he's been in exile. What the fuck's your problem? It's like, first of all, I'm joking, but second of all, for real, if anything, I expected Thrawn to be scrawny looking and like tired looking, not plump and well fed at the freaking Knights of the Round Table. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. That's like a stuffed turkey. He's looking
Look at his pantaloons, bro.
He's been eating all of the stormtroopers.
Well, this doesn't bother me at all.
It bothers me. He looks like a pirate.
He's been eating all the stormtroopers' food this whole time. This crew doesn't need it.
He ate all the troopers, like Kramer said. I think that's what
happened. He likes the red ones, not the yellow ones, and they had a surplus of those.
And listen, nobody's
was that
body
Andor?
shaming.
What show was that?
Nobody's body shaming. Go to Stranger Things. Everybody loves Hopper. He has a dad bod. It's the idea that Thrawn, even in Disney canon, if Disney wants to ignore the EU, that's them. But even in Disney canon, he trains. You see him in Rebels fighting assassin droids in his office. He in the books, in the Disney canon books, he fights Sashishi or whatever, Hashishi in the dojo. Yeah. Like he's
him and Anakin got in that fight in the bar. Everybody was dead, and Anakin turns around.
I don't mind him looking old. I don't mind him looking old. I don't mind him looking thin. Obviously, he's close to 70 here, but with the belly, it just stood out, or else nobody would have pointed it out.
But I hear everything you're saying, and where my mind went was, well, maybe for the first few years, while people were still alive, and there was, you know what I mean, and he was more, you know what I mean, it was more needed from an image standpoint, and he was into it, and he was like, all right, I can do this, and then the years kept going, and people kept dying, and zombies kept appearing, and he was kind of like,
Matt, I'm going to tell you straight up what happened here. If this was filmed 5 years ago, there would have been no shame in them telling Lars, you need to lose weight. You need to hanker down. But since this
he doesn't have the weight, that's the part that weirds me out. You saw him at Celebration. That guy's skinny as a twig.
He had filmed all his stuff already. Maybe he lost the weight after the fact, but to me,
stress.
To me, listen, and I love Lars. Okay, I was the one saying I'm not gonna like what they do with Thrawn and canon, but I like Lars as the voice. Like the voice, the acting, everything was on point. But clearly, everybody's pointing out his physique because it stood out for a reason. You just don't expect that from this intimidating person, even at 70. I don't want to hear it, but whatever.
Honestly, like if I'm being real with you, it really doesn't bother me as much as it's bothered a lot of people. Like he's a little pudgy, bro.
Just keep the camera angles from the chest up, and I'm good.
Legitimately, I felt the same way about Boba. Everybody's calling him Boba Fett. I'm like, my boy's thick and he's strong as fuck. That's a Maori warrior.
He lost the fucking weight.
I know he did, but bro, Lars is not.
I honestly, and I'll let it go, right? Because I'm just saying the same thing over and over and over again. I get it, but I honestly think they were trying to convey the fact that this exile is really started to wear on him. Perhaps they went a little overboard in how they chose to do it, but even the phrase on the uniform, even some of the ways in which he was thinking and acting, it would take a toll, even on Thrawn.
I get it. Listen, on second rewatch, like I said, it didn't bother me as much as the first time, but it is a noticeable thing. You just can't deny it. Like when he starts walking down the aisle, I'm like, yo. Thrawn's been eating
really quick, because we have to hit some super chats, and we got to hit some member chats, and we got to hit some membership gifting here. Chat Admiral Thrawn, because I feel like this is the most important question. Is Thrawn a villain? And I will die on the hill that Thrawn is not a villain. He is the savior of the galaxy because of what's coming. And a lot of people, they miss that, or they don't understand it because they haven't spent a lot of time with Thrawn, but his motivations are purely for prosperity.
He only needs a villain. So he needs a villain for his Mandoverse.
For now, at this moment, what do we know? We know he doesn't like the fact that Sabine's trying to team up with Ezra. He finds that problematic. I get it. He doesn't want that problem to persist. He wants it taken care of. He needs to do something with those coffins. He has some plan with these witches, those coffins, and it involves going back. Other than that, we really don't know what his motivation is. at this moment. Other than he doesn't.
They haven't described it. And I'll tell you right now, having spent as much time with Mark Thompson as I have, like Mark Thompson will be my Thrawn forever because he's just like he sounds like a Cheshire cat, just velvety and fucking dangerous.
And even when he had to imitate Lars for the new ones, he sounded amazing too. Mark, man, they need to use him more. And
Lars does well in this. He does really well in this. I do.
This scene was good.
Yeah, I honestly think like he will do fine as Thrawn. And my biggest fear was like, this is going to be just the worst Disney interpretation of Thrawn ever. And they may do that with the story, but for now, from what I've seen, like, I'm sorry, bro. I've spent countless hours with Thrawn. He's pretty fucking close.
And I had heard through the grapevine that there was quite a bit more Thrawn in this series than I was expecting, because I literally just expected it was going to be a throwaway. He's on the
right
at
the end of the season.
Those couple of shots. Yeah. It's going to be at the very end. We're not even going to know if he makes it back, and it's going to
like him walking on the Eye of Sion would have been on the finale, right?
And then when this happened in this episode, I was like,
caught me off guard. I was like, yo, he's talking a lot.
There's going to be a lot more Thrawn here than I thought, even if it's just 3 episodes worth. It surprised me. It really did surprise me.
I was shocked. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, we gotta hit some member chats. We gotta hit some gifted memberships. Star Wars Dog, a member for 10 months, says, I think Balin joins Ezra and Shin goes real dark. Interesting.
I think
that's
Shin
a take we haven't heard yet.
Mara Jade parallel. Some people are speculating.
Shin?
Some people have said Ezra.
Mara Jade's past is that she was a lackey
like
for
Ezra
Palpatine.
and Shin would be
so
no.
Ezra is the stand-in Luke, since Luke is luking somewhere else.
Luking? You mean jacking off and act to freaking hoping for some
well, let my family down.
And this is another huge problem for me that we don't need to get into at this moment, but we assume Luke is doing something somewhere else if we've got the time frame right.
We don't really know.
We really don't know.
God, I hate the sequels. Framinator for $5 says, oh God, if they make Project Blackwing canon, I'm going to be pissed AF. What was Project Blackwing? Is that a book I didn't read? Did I miss one?
Blackwing. I've heard of Project Blackwing before.
Was this the Undead Trooper one?
I think so.
Was that Death Troopers? I think it was. It was the cover had like the meat hooks with the...
Project Blackwing
helmet on it.
Project Blackwing was the Galactic Empire's Imperial Military Department of Advanced Weapons Research. Project that oversaw unlocking immortality. The project resulted in the accidental creation of the Blackwing virus, also known as a sickness, an infectious viral agent which was accidentally created while working on an experiment to revive necrotic tissue in a secret research facility located on Dandaran. I don't know any of what I just read, but yeah.
Yeah, so this is from that same
canon.
Yeah,
they did a lot of like Yahtzee type experiments with the with the Empire, 100%. Well, Framinator, let me know if that was in a book, because if I haven't read it, I need to read it. So especially if it pertains to this,
it sounds like in concept, then they might have sort of ripped that off a bit, actually, right? Because the Night Sisters are named for reanimators. They're reanimating here for obvious reasons. They probably decided adding a virus killing things into Star Wars at this moment probably wasn't in their best interest. So they probably went this route, maybe to take that same idea and reuse it. It's from the Death Troopers book. I'm really positive, because I think I've read
I was thinking it was Death Troopers. And then just out of nowhere, Daisy Blossom Flower Child sent $50 with a cat and a black box, and then Bading and a cat and a black box. Was there something I'm missing with it? What is the black box? I don't know what that means. Maybe we're black pills. Is that what it is?
We're complimenting it. We're just analyzing the episode. So
she wants the Bading. She's gonna get the damn Bading. Let's Bading. Daisy, thank you so much. You've been such an awesome part of this community. I love seeing you here. Every time I get to see you, I love seeing you. Thank you for being here. I love you, man. K-Man for what is NOK50?
Norwegian? Or
I
am
don't know.
totally wrong?
I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I honestly don't know. But K-Man, let me know what that is. For 50 says the critical drinker said next season they cast a spell over the galaxy, and nobody can use the Force there.
What is this?
So-
Spider-Man Far From Home? Because that's what
No,
they
but
kinda...
hey, let's be honest here. What was Thrawn really famous for? Right? He could always counteract the Jedi with his Ysilamari. So I would
I have
rather
a
see
feeling we're
that.
going to see those on this planet, to be honest, because it could explain why it's so desolate. But tying into this scene right here with Sabine, unless there's another super chat you wanted to grab.
Yeah, just wanted to say thanks, K-Man. Good to see you. First time I've seen you here, so thanks for being here. Randy Hawkins, what's up, brother? Says there's a feud going on in the anti-woke Star Wars fandom. Stephanie Janice, is that the one who's like, I don't like your Star Wars? Yeah, I really don't like her as a person. Is pro Filoni and calling G&G Nerdrotic and WDW Pro black pilling grifters? Wow.
And she does the same to EBN, by the way. EBN's
how come I never get called one of them, man? I want to get called a black pilling grifter. What the shit? Everybody else gets called out. You know what's funny? I get like almost no hate online, and it drives me nuts. I'm like, somebody has to fucking hate me, right?
Well,
Please?
I mean, there is a story you told me about a freaking feminist that wanted to take over your community, but that's a story.
Oh, that was so early though. I had like 500 subscribers at that point.
Well, I remember that too well.
It traumatized X-Wing so much that the first thing he asked me when I joined, all those years ago, are you a feminist? I was like, what? What are you talking about?
Dude,
What happened?
I was so like new and I was fresh and like I had no calluses. I didn't know what was going on, and people are joining. I'm like, dude, please don't fuck me over. Like,
I was like,
yeah.
no, you're good, bro. Don't worry.
that shit
It made me
was
happier than when he
wild.
finally said, "Okay, you can ban her now." I was like begging to ban her for weeks.
Oh yeah. No, you had the shell in the barrel. I was like, just go for it. He's like, thanks.
Let me pull the trigger.
Maria Spino. Oh, Maria, my friend, director for the Star Wars fan project that I'm currently working on, says, still saying it will be Snoke versus Thrawn for the Filoni movie. Don't shoot me, Nikki. Back to making baby blankets, and happy 49th birthday to me. It's your birthday? It's your birthday today?
It's her birthday.
Happy
today.
birthday.
I need a guess we'll just do this one.
Clip. I forget I'm on the fucking internet.
I love how you can hear Caleb in the background of that one. Right at the end. Happy birthday, Maria. I had no idea. I feel like a terrible friend. Happy birthday. Keep your eyes out, by the way. November, the new trailer releases for The Chosen One, and it's Emperor Vitiate's story with me voicing Emperor Vitiate. I think you guys are really going to like it. It's good. It's good Star Wars. Autocoder for 5 says, as an OG Star Wars fans, zombie troopers plus witches are a bridge too far for me. Sorry, Thrawn and Balin are cool. All roads lead to the First Order / Rey. So Autocoder's on the exact same page I am. Like, if you want to do it in like that kind of whimsical universe of cartoons, I'm super down for it. But the second it goes into live action, it just feels like too much for me. You know, you have a gigantic battalion of troopers who are apparently zombies going, Thrawn.
I hated that.
He's
Thrawn would have been like,
Sauron.
shut your ass up. Don't freaking say that shit. Don't embarrass me in front of my friends.
Yeah, bro. Like, where's your military decorum, dude? They should have been dead silent. That would have been fucking scary.
Yeah.
You got a whole mess of troopers that are just absolutely statuesque still, and there is not a sound other than Thrawn's boots going tick, tick, tick.
Well, and
tick.
so I'm curious because I get the impression there's going to be a battle, right? We seen he said, I'm going to send you guys go and take care of Ezra and Sabine. I'll send you some support. I get the distinct impression that Enoch will probably go because they have no other boss, right? It has to be Enoch. Enoch's going to go with whoever he sends. and I have to imagine they're going to have a battle. I don't know if the crab people are going to fight. We're going to have that happening too.
The
right?
what?
But I'll be very curious to see.
What did you say?
The crab people, the Noti.
Crab people?
The turtle.
Crab people, crab people.
I knew that was
Fuck's sake.
But where I was going with that train of thought is, will they disclose that these are zombies? Are they actually going to confirm it? Or is this going to be another thing that we're led to conclude is the case?
I think my prediction is that Ahsoka's going to kill a few of them, or we're going to see the green smoke again. That's what I think is going to happen.
Maybe it'll be red smoke here, because it seems like this is
Smoke,
in our place.
same shit.
Green. Yeah, here maybe it's red. I don't know.
So my next question was going to be, because Thrawn and Sabine obviously talk, and Thrawn tells her that, I'll give you my latest intel on Ezra. You can go find him. What is your assumption here? Because this is what I was saying last night. I am tired of filling in the blanks for these shows. So are we supposed to assume that Thrawn was just keeping tabs on Ezra but didn't care to kill him? Or did he keep him alive because maybe he thought that that's like a draw for people to find them in case this fell through, so he had to keep Ezra alive for that reason?
I mean, if I know Thrawn the way I know Thrawn, I would say he's doing his own thing with all his fucking zombie army, and Ezra's doing whatever the hell he's doing. What tactical advantage does he perceive in his mind to take out Ezra? It's a waste of resources. He's going to have to send his troops out. They're going to have to go find him. They're going to have to kill him. There are these bandits and these raiders that are, out killing people anytime you move anyone in force. So what's the point? Just leave him there. Fuck it. We'll be gone soon. Leave him there.
I would think, again, filling in the blanks, maybe he left them alive because it's a backup plan, right? Surely someone eventually is going to look for Ezra. So let me keep him alive in case some freaky deaky force shit happens. I don't know.
But also
that's a good idea. Maybe they came for Ezra and not for him.
Filling in those same blanks, though, we're sort of assuming they arrived. Thrawn said, "Get the hell off my ship." And Ezra said, "See you never." And he did that. There could be even more sinister here, right? In a way, Ezra could have stayed there, and then all this zombie shit started happening or whatever, and he was like, "Nah, man, peace out."
I'm sorry.
Eunuch.
I think it's Enoch. If I read the Bible right, I think it's Enoch.
But you know what I mean? It's we also don't know. If it has been 9 to 11 years, just calling it 10 to split the difference, right? But if it's been at least 9 years, did they arrive and they immediately part ways? Did they work together? Did they what? We don't know.
Right.
That's my problem with Disney Star Wars is these freaking time gaps. It was 30 years till The Force Awakens. It's 10 years till somebody finally fucking finds Thrawn. It's the same day. I'll say that for later. What the hell was Ezra and Thrawn doing this whole time? Just, again, exchanging cups of sugar, just waving each other from a distance, like, "Hey, how are you? I'm going this way. You go that way." I don't know. It's too long of a time.
But this blast the area that they're at, I get the feedback, but that presupposes that Thrawn's motivation would immediately be, "I'm going to kill this son of a bitch. He brought me here. Fuck him." Right? Yeah. And I think the Thrawn that I was presented with through Rebels, who now has gotten bested by Ezra, would be like, "Well, fuck me. I got bested by a kid and a bunch of whales. You go do your thing."
Yeah.
Oh my God, guys, we skipped something. I have to hit this. King's Advisors gifted 20 memberships to the channel. Yeah, King's Advisors gifted 20 memberships to the channel. Please, everyone, if you got them, throw those X-Wings in the chat. Throw the Hanger Gangs in the chat for my boy, my brother. King's Advisors, my first mate in the pirate games, my boy, Mr. Bond. Much love to you, Kings. Thank you so much.
This clip, I forget I'm on the fucking internet.
Don't forget to, if you haven't already, turn on the ability to be gifted a membership.
And speaking of which, Be advised that Ryan Kennel was lurking when that happened, and he is also now one of your newest members as a result of
Call him out. Call him out.
What? Ryan Kennel is now a member of the channel
Yeah, because
This
of
is
the
just-
gift.
This is just for you,
This
man.
could be kind of fun. Oh.
Why are you such a fucking pervert? What is wrong with you? All your clips are freaking disturbing. Jesus.
I just know what Ryan's into. You know what I mean?
Oh.
I understand
no.
him. Yeah,
Okay.
I understand him as a person. But yeah, thank you for all the X-Wings and the Hanger Gangs. We love you being here, man. We got 130 people in here. Hit that like. Join this beautiful community. Look at these two beautiful people, Risman and Nikki out here spilling our hearts about Star Wars.
And by the way, here's a question that doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the episode because Ahsoka's not in Ahsoka. You know, go figure her own show.
Thank God.
Do you think they're gonna answer what the fuck? Why she was gone for all of the OT? Do you think she was stuck on Malachor? Like, do you think we're gonna get any answers as to where the hell was she during
That's
the
the
OT?
prevailing idea, right? Is that she was stuck somewhere. Because, like,
I
what the fuck else are you gonna
Malachor,
do?
where Ezra pulled her out from with her fight with Vader in Rebels, and she goes back there. Do you think she's just stuck there all of the OT? Are we gonna get an answer, Matt? Do you think?
Well, Nikki, you know she goes where she's needed.
Oh, shut your mouth.
That's the
She would have
excellent-
been needed on freaking Endor and shit. What are you talking
Sadly,
about?
And
sadly, I-
Ahsoka only goes when she's needed, where she's needed.
Well, and this is because I have to admit, even after doing the rewatch, I had the same question. I'm like, I don't remember where Ahsoka was when Thrawn and Ezra got taken by the whales. And then I went back and recollected. I'm like, oh wait, we don't know what happened to her after he put her back,
She was
or after
put
she
back
put
in
herself
time.
back.
Not back in, like, who's to say she was still in Malachor by the end of Rebels, you know?
Yeah. And then she shows up in the apparently retcon. Here they are with the coffins, so eerie. Then they show back.
Yeah.
Then they show back up in the. Oh, go back to that star map for a second, X-wing.
Yeah,
There
that's
was
a good one.
no
Isn't that from a
comment.
shot from the comics?
Oh, this bitch with the oh my
Wait,
god,
go
dude.
back
Screw
just a
her.
little
She can
bit.
eat shit.
I know it's gonna be there in a I fucking hate her. I'm sorry. Yeah, and
Even-
you know what, Nikki, you brought up a really good point. Like, way to steal the poncho.
She did. Cal Kestis ass, thief ass, stealing the look ass.
Andor wants his poncho back, right?
No, Cal Kestis. Okay.
Kestis.
Thank
Cal
you.
Kestis.
Cal Kestis trademarked the
Cal
poncho. And the only
Kestis.
reason why I'm so protective of Cal Kestis and his ponchos because in Celebration, Matt, you were there. How he was so excited about his ponchos and his character. He's such
Yeah.
a good guy. I love him.
He's like, the poncho's gonna be there. Where is that star map?
Just back a little bit.
I think it's forward a little, isn't it?
No, I think it's before.
I can't
they
believe
rode-
we got fucking Minas Tirith in Star Wars.
I think it's before they rode away.
No, it's
Right
after.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so go a little bit. So there was some speculation I saw online that the unknown regions are highlighted. The star path to the unknown regions is highlighted here, and this is very reminiscent of the same star map that was put up in whenever they finally woke R2 up and he had the fucking
Oh,
piece to the thing.
don't do this to me, Matt.
But no, the presentation of this map,
Okay.
I've seen online speculation saying it's the same presentation that we saw there, and
Yeah, well,
obviously
it's the same fucking star map that we got in Battlefront 2. I mean, this is just like
Maybe-
widely
maybe.
regarded as
But this is, I think there was some talk that this was them discussing. I don't know if she's telling them where Paleon is. I think this is her bringing him up to speed in regards to what's going on with the remnants back home,
It's the map to Exegol.
amongst other things, perhaps.
Why do we have to go through this mind puzzle to try and make their storylines make sense by filling in the blanks? Apathy is finally set in, bro.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
I
A lot
feel
of
you.
these Disney Star Wars shows have been about you filling in the blanks. There's a
Yeah.
difference. I think here's a problem with a lot, and this goes to MCU shows as well, Disney Plus. They don't, these writers, again, what the do I know? I'm not a freaking writer, right? But like, they don't know the difference between ambiguity and just giving zero answers whatsoever. And I
Yeah.
think they lean to the side of, well, we don't know, so we're not going to tell you, versus, oh, let's keep this a mystery.
I think
There's
nuance
some
has been an
answers that we
issue.
need to know.
Nuance has been an issue for them from the start, man. Like, you have to be tactile with this shit. Wizzy Wizard calls us complainers.
Why are you watching?
No, I hate that shit. Please watch.
No, don't watch if you're annoyed with us. I wouldn't watch someone I'm annoyed by.
So So on this point of, and I know
don't
we
either.
touched on it a little bit last night too, but on this point of the gymnastics required, what hurts my heart as a consumer of television and as a lover of this franchise is, and X-Wing, I think you said this last night also, and I definitely agree. They're doing a really poor job here of connecting the dots for both the uninitiated, normal, just seen it on the big screen and, you know, live action Mandoverse only fans. And then for the super sweaties, seen it all, heard it all, done it all. Nobody knows what the fuck is going on.
Yeah. That was a point that I made. WDW Pro and I made a video, I think last week, where I was like, I feel like they're chasing fans that don't exist because they're not putting a story together that would make sense for the uninitiated, because they have a shitload of questions. They're like, what the hell is going on? But they're also not making making a story for the hardcore fans. So there's this weird kind of limbo situation that they're creating where you're not making really anybody happy. And
here's the thing: do you guys know? I was gonna say,
ahead.
do you guys know any normies? Because, for example, I have a few coworkers and some cousins of mine that they're super normies. They haven't seen the animated show, but they've seen all of Mando. They've seen Boba. They've seen Kenobi. None of them are watching Ahsoka for the simple reason that they don't know anything about these characters, and they tell me, most of them, oh, I'll probably watch it when it's over, like so they can binge it. Yeah. And I'm like, well, you know what would have helped this? The only time Thrawn was ever mentioned in the Disney Plus live action series was one time by Ahsoka in season 2 of Mando, and then one time in season 3 at the finale. I feel like if they would have teased him a little bit more, maybe normies would want to see, okay, what is this about? Like, we have to follow up on that.
That's what we got from Mando. Where's Thrawn? Like, the biggest fuck is Thrawn?
The biggest question I've gotten from normie friends, it's always the same question. Question number 1. Who is Ezra? And what's the relationship to Sabine? How does Sabine know Ahsoka? And who is Thrawn? And how did he get here?
How do they know each other? Like, who is anyone? And then you start to sprinkle in people like Morgan Elsbeth to both the uninitiated and the initiated are like, who the fuck is Morgan Elsbeth?
And it's so sad for me to say this. Part of the reason why I give Morgan Elsbeth a bit more of a pass than any of the rest of them is at least she's a fucking character who was introduced in the context of this universe.
You could have thrown Sabine in season 2, just have her be a wanderer with Bo-Katan. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's ways you could have introduced these characters to the normie audience, and they didn't do it. Like,
it's not like we haven't seen every other Mando that nobody ever knew existed.
Yeah, all the Kid Bash Mandos, which were awful, by the way.
But they couldn't show us
Kid Bash Mandos.
They couldn't show us Sabine because apparently she was off brooding on Lothal. Right, so there's
who's feeding her cat, by the way? This is animal abuse. Her loft cat is just stuck there on the fucking tower.
They didn't bring it with.
Unbelievable.
I was not a fan. You know what I will give some credit though? I loved my little crab people.
So they did this. So first of all, I
thought they were great. I'm sorry. I love my little hermit crab people.
Before we skip to the hermit crabs, Nikki's comment about she found them in a day. Right? Didn't they do the wiping here? Didn't they make it seem like she could have been wandering for
no, Matt, no filling in the fucking blanks. The assumption was that it was the will of the Force. This is the excuse people end up using when there's no clear reason as to why this happened. It was the will of the Force that she ran into these turtle motherfuckers from the real world of Richard Scarry.
Maybe she was wandering for 3 rotations, Nikki. Just long enough.
3 days, apparently. I got an answer. It's a day.
Can we stop saying rotations, by the way?
No.
Like, boy, that shit's starting to piss me off.
Welcome to Star Wars.
Anyway, I love the crab. Let's go back to something we all liked. I like the crab people, the noties.
Felicity's in the chat says, Lord, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle crabs were kind of whack, but I
don't mind them. I thought they looked cool. I love puppets, but I'm saying what they used them for was so convoluted. Oh, you have the rebellion symbol just like me. You know Ezra. Yeah, no, Ezra. I'm going to take you right now to my village where he's at.
Yeah. Hawkins nailed it. They're Ewok hermit crabs. It's another convenience, which I'm because I love Return of the Jedi so much, I'm allowed to love these crab peoples as a convenience.
But do we then think it means when the battle comes, we're going to get Teenage Mutant Ninja Crab people? Are they going to fight with Ezra?
I sincerely hope
they're going to move like
that
this.
Doesn't happen.
I think it's gonna. So let's then say for a moment they don't fight. What's gonna happen? Enoch's gonna show up with more than a few of these troopers, right? Balin and Shin are gonna be there, and it's what? It's gonna be Ezra, Sabine, and Ahsoka without the crab people helping. I almost unfortunately now don't see a way they won't fight.
There's no way. Yeah, so you know what I think worst case scenario is? These crab people, like, all of a sudden they have a courage to fight, even though, 2 episodes ago when fucking Sabine shows up and brings out a piece of cheese, they fall into their shells. The worst case scenario is that they go into their little crab shells and it's like Beskar armor, so that the bolts blast off it.
I just figured it out. I just answered my own question. Those bandits that we saw who attacked Sabine, who previously we were told they'll turn on each other or whatever, they're speaking the exact same language that the Nodi speak.
Yes.
That these crab
same
people
language.
speak.
Yeah.
So if I had to guess, they'll be called in and they'll be the ones.
If the people are comparing them to the Ewoks, look at what the Ewoks did in Return of the Jedi. They helped
and
in
you
their
know what
own
I
way.
bet? Those warriors that are protecting those Nodi, I bet you they're defected stormtroopers from Thrawn's little experiment. So they were Imperials who were like, we're not taking part of your project, where they're like reanimating corpses.
I just hated this scene of her talking to the freaking Ratatat from that Ratatat Pokemon, overgrown fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah, so X-Wing, your commentary there on the fact that the bandits may be Imperials that either didn't work out or defected or did whatever and now are struggling to survive is not even something I considered a possibility, and it makes a lot of sense.
Doesn't it make 1,000% sense? Yeah, I could totally see that as a thing. And so anytime they see another humanoid walking around on the planet, they want to shoot him and kill him and get rid of him because they think it's one of Thrawn's creations or whatever the case may be. That did just pop up to me in like the last 45 seconds, by the way. That was it's just don't know why.
My whole thing was I didn't understand the appearances. It's only the sisters and it's these crab people, but yet they're these bandits that appear to be humanoid. That are there,
humanoid.
That are they're causing a problem, and I'm like, where in the fuck did they come from? Now Thrawn's commentary about our numbers have dwindled, and some of the rest of it makes even a little more sense.
Well, there's one other thing that will back up your, this idea is that the Nodi are wearing a rebellion symbol, and so you have a microcosm of a rebellion occurring on this planet. So you have these defected, Imperials fighting back against the Empire, and so they wear the rebellion insignia.
Yeah. Yeah, and even Sabine said you have your own little rebellion here.
There you go. There you go.
And
that's my thought.
I didn't mind her interaction with this howler so much. I think it's just the horse of this. It's their version of a horse.
I thought the creature looked great.
Yeah, I mean the creature.
I hated
design
the discourse between the two. Did we really need to spend like
the creature's not the problem?
It was like 7 minutes of these two interacting with each other. It's like, wow,
the creature's not the problem. It was the whole scene in itself. Like, people, they're trying to make Sabine a thing. Stop making fetch happen. It's never gonna happen. That's a Mean Girls reference, but I'm just over it. Like, you never seen Mean Girls? Fetch.
What is Mean Girls?
Oh,
bro. No. Are you kidding me right now?
No.
Jesus, that's like one of the last few good comedies we got out of the 2000s eras. But anyways, my point is that they're trying so hard to make us like Sabine or sympathize with her, and we just don't. We want less of her.
I feel like they're trying hard for us to like hate the shit out of her, and they're doing a really good job.
Well, anyways, and I think also though the bigger problem I have with Sabine in general is, and maybe this is intentional, but if you do go back to her backstory in Rebels, right, and what really shaped her backstory in Rebels, right, was the incident of her creating that weapon that helped wipe out.
Man, do not get me started on that shit. She was 14, 13 years old when she made a weapon that destroys Beskar. Eat my
I know,
Yeah.
I know. But so
No,
move
it
past
destroyed
that.
everything but the Beskar.
No, it
Yeah.
destroys Beskar.
Oh.
So
What was the one that killed everything inside the
He
Beskar?
changed it last minute to go against the stormtroopers, to kill the stormtroopers versus the.
She tweaked
see,
it.
I'm
But
an
the
imperfect Star Wars fan.
point of me bringing it up was she spent her whole life trying to atone for fucking all of that up, for wiping out her people and all of this.
Yeah.
Now fast forward to this situation, she seems to be just doing the same stupid shit again. Right now she's gambling. Has she learned nothing? What did
Thrawn say? Thrawn was
It's
that singular focus will reshape the galaxy. Is a good line that he said. It's true. He's like, your selfishness for wanting to get Ezra back, you have just screwed over everybody.
And she's already screwed over her whole. I mean, she's like, is she just destined to fuck it up?
But
it's
let's
almost
go back
like
to
Luke having a full character arc and then coming back and destroying his entire character arc.
Let's go back to that Balin and Shin moment before this. So I know you mentioned Abeloth, but let's take that out of the equation. What do you think is the power? Abeloth, AT, whatever.
See, there they are. They're watching.
What do you think is drawing him to the planet?
I don't know.
I don't even think it's the planet. I think it's the place. There is some kind of dark side energy that he thinks is gonna fix shit. So again, I think that this is the shoe-in for Jorah Sabayoth.
Yeah.
This guy is the shoe-in for Jorah Sabayoth.
But a more sane version.
I was gonna say. So the difference is that they make you like him as a character, and they give you tie-ins to the Jedi Order to make you like sympathize with this guy, but you don't really realize like how batshit insane his ambitions are. They're making you like him.
Chat, what do you think is the reason? What is calling him there?
And also, if I had to pick a blast from the past, I would pick the Bendu or something like that.
I do like the Bendu. I know he's totally canon breaking, but his voice, amazing. I forgot.
He was in Rebels, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, for me, I'm not convinced that what's
talking about the Force Moose.
Yes.
What's not
Tom Baker. Come on.
We equate this planet with the dark side specifically because of the Night Sisters. I'm not convinced that that's necessarily what's calling to Balin, because he's moved away from that. And I also don't understand, maybe now with X-Wing and your theory on who these bandits may be, why they attacked Sabine. And here they're just kind of looking. They're just kind of watching.
Yeah.
Maybe because they recognize him for being with Thrawn. I don't know.
Hold on. Let me stop sharing the screen really quick. We got a couple other super chats and member chats to get through. King's Advisor member for 8 months says, if you want haters, you have to make videos.
True.
Don't tell me what to do. You're not my dad. Okay. I probably should make some videos, though. Randy Hawkins for $5 says, Thrawn is very powerful. We will get Han, Luke, and Leia reunion. We wanted in the sequel trilogy in Filoni's movie. Thrawn is a major threat. So
I agree. That's what's going to happen.
I think it's what's going to happen, but everyone is so jaded by what already happened. People are going to be fucking outraged when it happens. I bet that's what's going to transpire.
That's why they need to recast, because at least you can separate it with a recast, and it just feels like they're just resurrecting dead characters because they don't have their own characters to stand on.
Well, they literally are. Legitimately. And so I am
you think we're gonna get a Leia cameo in the next episode? Because they name dropped her, and I'm sure we're gonna get the Hera and or plot. Sorry, Matt.
Didn't they name drop Bail?
No, it was Senator Organa, and they meant Leia.
Bail's dead.
Yeah. That's right.
And I think, unfortunately, the cameo is going to be C-3PO. I don't think we're going to get Leia.
Hey, I'm fine with that. I'm good. No more of these dead characters.
Man. But I also don't. And it's possible, anything's possible, but given what I think Leia is still up to at this point in the timeline, depending on when the Filoni movie is set, I don't think she would be resisting yet. I don't think she would be...
Maybe, because she's kind of covering for Hera, you know? And I know you love Genevieve O'Reilly. I do too. I think she's an amazing Mon Mothma. But at this point, they're kind of cucking her a bit into being a New Republic simp, like telling her.
No, I think she's just playing the cards close to the chest, man.
But yes, that's exactly my point. She's telling her, "You need to get back, or you're gonna lose your job." Basically, I don't know.
Well,
and Leia's the one covering for her, not
This
Mothma.
is so early on in the game, dude. Like she's trying to keep it tight.
But you, I'm sure you guys caught when the New Republic, those ships showed up, and Carson Teva was like, "What are you doing here? Who are you?" But when they came in, they totally came in like 3 Star Destroyers, right? They're doing everything but telegraphing the fact that the New Republic is the new Empire.
Well, like Galen said, the cycle repeats itself, right? So he's not wrong.
And so I think Mon Mothma is the Chancellor of Valorum of this situation.
That's a good comparison. Yeah.
She's certainly not the Palpatine, but she can be a pretty good Chancellor of Valorum.
So,
right?
to anybody in chat who doesn't remember, when we hit the prequels, the first Chancellor that we see in the prequels is Chancellor of Valorum, played by what's his name?
Vote of no confidence.
Yeah, I don't remember. But anyway, I have to pee again. We got to hit some super chats again. Maria Espino for $4.99. Thank you, darling. Says, can we explain why her makeup is flawless for days/weeks? She was in prison and walking through a desolate planet. She must have hidden a makeup bag.
Maria, we know that there's waterproof eyeliner. So either that or Sabine just tattooed some eyeshadow on her eyelids.
I think where Boba Fett actually had like the grappling hook, she pops it open and it's sponsored by Maybelline.
It's a makeup kit.
It's Maybelline and she can just fix her shit up. You know what I mean?
But
maybe by Dathomir.
Mandalorian Maybelline.
It doesn't have that.
Maybe it's the Force.
No, it's maybe it's Mandalore. Maybe it's Maybelline. Randy Hawkins for 5 says, I know what's wrong with Sabine. They made her with Rey's persona.
That's
yes. True. KK says she's the bestest.
But I've been saying that Sabine was the first. Sabine was the first Rey Skywalker. Guys, go back and watch Rebels. I've been a Sabine hater since day one.
And I know
proof mascara.
I know, Nikki, you're convinced that her moment to OP is coming. But I will say, up to this point, they have done a pretty good job of showing Sabine as a pretty big fuck up and failure, right? She doesn't exude the Force's female to me yet in this series. Now, if all of a sudden it comes to the end, she saves Ahsoka's life by throwing boulders around with the Force and doing backflips with the lightsaber and cutting Enoch's head off, I'll get it. But I'm not actually sure that's necessarily where we're going. And I would almost put money on her dying in this series, not because I find her to be the most annoying, but because it does seem like the appropriate redemption for getting into this whole situation. And I could see herself dying to enable Ezra to return back to the galaxy.
See, we interpret it as her being flawed and making all these mistakes, but I don't think that that's what they want to convey. I think they want to have us sympathize with her and root for her. They don't see the fact that we're seeing it differently. And I've said this many times. I've never liked Sabine, even from Rebels, because like I said earlier, when she was 13, 14, I can't stand her. When she was 13, 14, she made a weapon that destroys Beskar, a very special metal for the Mandalorian culture is all I'll say. She knew how to do that at 13, 14. No wonder her family was pissed at her because she was at the Empire Academy. She got the Darksaber. She knew how to do literally everything. She solves puzzles. She fixes droids. Whatever. That's why I find it hard to believe that in this live action version of her, all of a sudden she's this giant screw up. Like, yes, she's made mistakes, but I don't think that that's what they want us to think about her. I think they want us to root for her and be happy. Oh God.
He's having camera problem. I don't know. I can, like I said, I can just see the culmination of her arc being one of sacrifice for Ezra, for the greater good, for whatever.
I hope
because
so.
I don't necessarily see them setting her up as being a requirement to continue the story. Again, I don't know how the story is going to end for this. I have an idea of how something is going to end in this season.
She's going to be Filoni's Force-sensitive Mandalorian from the lore. Remember? What was his name?
Oh, dude, no, you're talking about making him like Tar Vizsla.
I would put money on Grogu actually fulfilling that.
It's going to take a long time, though.
before.
Watch her
Sabine.
be the descendant of Tar Vizsla, the first Jedi Mandalorian, right? They're going to be like, well, you didn't actually know your family heritage. You are the great granddaughter of Tar Vizsla,
But if
the
Filoni,
first Jedi Mandalorian. By the way, which is going to tie into the Darksaber, because Tar Vizsla created the Darksaber.
if you want to say that Grogu would be the one, that's the only reason why I would hesitate and say no is because he's still so young. Like he would have to be way older so they could utilize him and all the stuff that Filoni wants to do in the Mandoverse.
Well, I think back to what we thought was a whoopsie interview between Favreau and Filoni when they were sitting there talking about Mando season 3, and it comes up with, the topic of Mandalorian Jedi comes up, and they were speculating about Grogu and didn't, some of the rest of the stuff. And then Favreau just goes, just matter-of-factly, well, you could make the argument that Sabine was the first Mandalorian Jedi. And Filoni immediately goes, well, I don't know if I would say, and he tried to deflect it. And then they continued the interview on. So they've been here already in what we thought was a whoopsie moment. Again, I'm not convinced all of these folks make it back to our galaxy, and I do not believe Sabine makes it back.
I think someone is going to stay there because they have to explain some absences from the sequel trilogy, to be honest with you. Yeah. They still haven't explained the OT absence. They got to explain some freaking absence because I find it hard to believe they're all just chilling in the galaxy while all this crazy shit was going on, which is why I'm convinced that Thrawn is the ultimate villain for this Mandoverse.
We do see the ghost in Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, right? Boo. So that's JJ being a retard, honestly.
Unless the art department snuck in.
What ghost?
Right?
True.
It's reasonable to believe Hera persists in some way.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
On your point, I wouldn't be surprised if neither Sabine nor Ahsoka make it back for different reasons.
From this planet?
From this galaxy.
This is my theory, okay? And Chad and everybody tell me if you agree with me. Filoni is carving out his own version of the trilogies. And his way of doing that is by not retconning the fucking sequels, but ignoring them and establishing something in this galaxy to kind of tell his own Mandoverse story, because he's going to end it with a movie. That's what the story
I think he's making his own trilogy in between the sequel
That's
trilogy
what I'm saying. Yes.
And the original trilogy.
Yes, without using sequel trilogy elements, because they reference it here and there, but they, for the most part,
but bro, what, like, who the fuck do you think makes the First Order?
If it ends up being Thrawn, I'm gonna freaking go to Skywalker Ranch.
Did you not think that this is where this is going?
We already have an inkling now into who's going to make Thrawn, and it's Hux Sr. from the Shadow Council, right? The whole purpose of seeing that Shadow Council and him providing those Praetorian guards while Pelion was providing.
The tie-ins are there.
Yeah, it's going to be Hux Sr. I do think something will happen, right? Between Pelion and the Thrawns and Hux Sr. and all of that stuff, and I would bet that's going to play out, not off screen. I think they're going to give that to us front and center in some way.
So right, Thrawn clearly dies at some point, right? He gets taken over, and Hux Sr. basically, starts to forge out the First Order.
Which is why I'm convinced that Gideon is dead for real this time.
That'd be nice.
Because they gotta move over. But anyways, so Ezra. Here's my only.
Let's get to this scene, which was apparently the least impactful, what should have been most impactful moment. Which is funny because it happened twice in one episode in Disney Star Wars. I was unimpressed by the return of my favorite character, basically in the entirety of Star Wars. It's Anakin and Thrawn. Those are my two guys. And then you get the Rebels, which is Sabine and Ezra meeting up. And for me, they both landed flat, unfortunately.
And for me, I thought they nailed this. I thought they nailed his dialogue, his mannerisms.
No, but that's not what we're talking about.
No, Ezra was a good Ezra.
Yes, he's a good... Look, for all my complaints about this scene, I will say this. It seems like out of all the animated to live action castings they've done with the mannerisms, the voice and the look, I think this guy really nails Ezra's like vibe or whatever you want to call it. His
100%.
voice, his inflections, his mannerisms. I thought he was
Yep.
a great Ezra, and he's easy on the eyes.
He's like Alden
But
Ehrenreich to Han
yes,
Solo.
yes. But what was underwhelming was the fact that she just got to this new galaxy, and the same day she finds him, and it's just like a hug, and that's it. I'm like, bro, this is 10 years. This is the Rebels epilogue in the fucking making, and this is it. You couldn't save him for a little bit later. Like, I don't know. It was just, it felt.
Well,
really
not only
fast.
that, bro, but I mean, he got the same fucking treatment that Qui-Gon did when. Hold on.
Where'd he
The
go?
force cut you off.
Oh, why is it? Oh, man, KK is mad at me
We
right
can hear
now.
you. Keep talking.
I know. I'm just saying, KK is super mad at me right now.
Oh,
My God, what the hell is wrong with you? There we go.
here it is.
This is the same treatment that we got from Qui-Gon Jinn seeing Obi-Wan for the first time. Like, Obi-Wan sees Force Ghost Qui-Gon for the first time, and
I
what the
forgot
fuck
that
does
happened.
Qui-Gon say? He goes, like, took you long enough. Like, what the fuck? Who wrote this? And then same thing with these two. They see each other again, and like, it makes sense, I guess, for him to be like, well, it took you long enough to get here. But shouldn't it be like, holy fuck, why are you here?
She
How
should
are
have
you
ran
here?
to him, you know.
So the way
Yeah.
way I took it was they were both a little bit in shock. And remember, he has no context. When he left, his main goal was to protect Lothal. I got to get that. I got to get the Imperials out of this place. We got to get rid of Thrawn.
Very
can't-
selfless
can't
of him.
let
He
this-
didn't know if he was gonna die. He was very selfless.
I gotta. And so he asks Sabine, what is the one thing he asked? It worked, didn't it? And then how does she answer that? There's been 2 Death Stars. There's been an Emperor. There's been the you know what I mean? There's been so much that's, you know what I mean? There's been so much that's gone on in this time, and he's just like, how's the planet doing? And when it comes right down to it, the whole battle and the whole thing they were afraid was going to happen, and Lothal never came.
Yeah.
So
I
You
hope
shoulda
he's
had
pissed.
him, like-
I hope he gets pissed at her for what she did, because I have a feeling they might skirt by it, but I could be wrong. But he essentially, it would have made his sacrifice totally worthless after what she just did.
and then he's like, I can't wait to get out of here, you know, kind of a thing. And she's like, well, I fucked that up too. I was like, I don't even know if we can go back, because Thrawn kind of left it open ended. Thrawn didn't say she couldn't come back. He just
You know
said,
how this
if you're
scene
not
should have
back
been
on-
written?
not back on time. Now she doesn't know, of course, that he was sending people to kill him, but he just said, if you're not back on time, you're out of luck. She doesn't know if she can bring Ezra back.
You know how the scene should have been written? It should have been Ezra sitting on that little grassy knoll behind his house fishing, and he turns around, doesn't say a damn word, stands up, looks at Sabine, and a tear falls, and he's like,
He turns around and says hello there.
like, bro, you can't be real. Like, you're not real. And she's like, you know, I am real. And then they
Actually,
meet up, you know?
It should have happened in the last episode, because this is my problem with this series. They're doing too much at once. We see Thrawn in this
Yeah.
episode. That should have been the big bang for this episode.
So
Then
I'll-
save Ezra from the next episode, or maybe
So
even the final one, you know?
So I'll counter quite plainly. They should have ditched all the Anakin Clone Wars shit and given us more of this.
Fuck
Right,
you.
we meandered around. We meandered around and put other things in and sacrificed the ability to tell more of the core motherfucking story.
From an
So then make it
Ahsoka
9 episodes then.
storytelling standpoint, as much as I obviously I love Hayden, everybody knows how much I drooled over that episode. But from an Ahsoka show point, I can see where Matt is coming from. Like it didn't do shit
I mean,
for
I
Ahsoka.
I get it, but it is the Ahsoka show.
Well, also, and please
Wrong,
don't.
it's
Where
a
the fuck
Sabine
was
show.
she during this whole fucking thing, right?
I-
Nowhere to be found.
And I also want to be clear. I thought Hayden was great as Anakin. I thought the interaction between Anakin and Ahsoka was amazing. I thought they did a good job with the Clone Wars stuff. I just didn't think it fit.
I get
Right.
it.
So
I can
it's
see
not
that.
it's not that I think it was poorly produced, put together, or badly acted. It's like I would have liked to see those minutes invested in more dialogue here, more something. And for all we know, they're going to be talking the whole next episode. I doubt it, because we have to get back to the action. We only have 2 episodes left. And
Do you think Ezra's gonna get mad at her? Let's be real. Do you think he's gonna get mad at her?
I think he's going to be a little displeased if she discloses that she what she had to do to get back to him.
Because Ahsoka's gonna show up next episode. So
Do you have
she's
any
gonna-
idea how, like, the people who didn't watch Rebels, where the fuck their mindset is at right now? Like,
I know it because
who-
I had to explain to 3 people. Why does she care
I
about
wish I
it?
had. I wish I had that Conor McGregor clip where it's like, "Who the fuck is that guy?" Like this dude walks in, like, "Who the fuck is that guy?"
If they would have dedicated this episode, for example, just to Thrawn, and then the next episode Sabine finds Ezra towards the end, I think it would have hit a little bit harder for me because, like I said, this actor, he's good looking. He nails Ezra's mannerisms. You know, he's Ezra of Nazareth. I get it, but he looks good. He acts good.
Ezra of
So,
Nazareth.
but let's just think about it plainly. Right?
Shut the fuck up.
Ezra sacrificed everything and has been stuck here for 10 years to make sure Thrawn was removed from the equation. What
Right.
did she do?
Bringing him
She
right back
came-
in.
She came back to get Ezra, and in so doing, she totally wiped out his entire sacrifice.
His sacrifice, yeah. So
By
I
now
would
enabling
slap the bitch
Thrawn to
if
go
he shows
back.
up telling me that shit.
Man, I didn't even really think about it that way.
He didn't even know if he
you-
was going to survive the journey, dude. He just said,
Yeah.
I need to get Thrawn out of here for my friends and for my family and for a little Saul. And she's literally handing Thrawn back to the galaxy on a silver platter for him.
This
Yeah.
is where
God, what a
I'm
stupid
saying
bitch.
She is, from Thrawn's standpoint, he kind of said this in his own way, right? By you just sacrificed the whole galaxy. He was just patiently waiting. I'm like this guy here is now like, wait, you did what to get here?
Yeah.
You know, now wait, he can
Yep.
go back.
Yep.
Fuck you! What did I do this whole time?
I've been hanging out with crabs for fucking 10 years.
Koopa
You
Troopas, motherfucker.
stupid bitch.
He has chainmail on. You notice that too?
I
Yeah.
saw it. He looks like fucking Aragorn. It drives me nuts, dude.
The only other thing about it that's still unanswered is he told Ahsoka to come get him. Also, right? Didn't he? Wasn't his dialogue with Ahsoka when they're leaving the world between worlds? Didn't
No,
she say?
she says come and find me or oh no, he says come and find me. You're right, but I don't think he meant the whole
Ahsoka.
Thrawn thing. Not yet.
No, but so he should be expecting Ahsoka. Even if Sabine doesn't think Ahsoka's coming, he should be expecting her.
Well,
Right,
not
so
only
I-
that, Ahsoka should be the one that's actually on a mission to find him because he's the one that saved her life.
Well, and that's
Fucking
why I
was
think the dialogue is going to be. I think his dialogue should be, "Why are you here? Where's Ahsoka? What's going on?" And then she's going to tell him all this stuff, and he's going to be like, "Oh my fucking god!"
If
No, he's in a
Thrawn
half
kills
shell.
a Purgle, I'm gonna freaking cry.
Say again.
If Thrawn kills a Purgle, I'm gonna cry. I don't want to see. I don't want to hear a Purgle in pain.
Nah,
He
he
didn't
doesn't give
say
a shit
fire
about
on any
Purgles,
incoming
dude.
Purgle. I'm like, oh no.
With prejudice, as Thrawn says.
They were going there to die anyway.
No, they were going there because Ahsoka's stupid ass was like, "Take me to your grave."
But also notice in that dialogue, he instructed Morgan to fire on any incoming Purgle.
To kill the travelers, the
I
star
don't.
whales.
I don't know that. I don't even know at this point that the Chimera is armed.
Or
What
is
the
it,
fuck are you doing?
or is it even functional, except to just hover?
There's only a few sublight drives still
An
active.
engine
You can
was
see that
out.
when they were moving. All the small sublight engines were still active.
Do
But
you
that's the
think-
reason why they brought the hyperspace fucking ring was to jump them back out.
Do you think they make it to Dathomir with all the graves of the witches?
Yes, that's 100% where they're going. By the end of this, we will see Dathomir. We will see Morgan Elsbeth. We'll probably, I don't remember if they're bringing the witches with them or not, but
I think they
So
Yeah.
Thrawn is essentially making the Force female. He's bringing all the witches back to life. It's gonna be
Yeah.
Dathomir.
You guys think that in those catacombs was the deceased witches?
Or
yeah, dude,
no,
I think we're getting those crazy banshee bitches that we got.
I think there's two options. Either it's that, or it's Thrawn building up his own army like he has already.
Yeah,
on
but who's in the
Chimera.
fucking caskets?
It could be males like the Mauls. I call them the Mauls of Dathomir.
No, because the Night Sisters, the Night Sisters didn't didn't do that until they got to Dathomir.
Well, and also it wouldn't make sense.
And
for
those
Thrawn-
Zabrak males, they only did
Zabrak,
that once
that's
they
what
were
it's
on
called. Yeah.
Dathomir. So
well, but
it wouldn't
the other
be
thing,
them.
the other thing about it is the coffins. The coffins
It's
look
a
more.
bunch of fucking no teeth.
No,
Fucking
but
crab people.
so, but
Mr.
also
Krabs.
the coffins almost looked more like life support tubes, right? They seem to have power
Yeah, it
to
was like
them.
a cryo tube or something.
Could you go to
Yeah.
it towards the end, X-Wing? 'Cause I didn't really like look at them too
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah,
But
let's
so
go.
I
And
guess where I'm
apparently
coming-
they actually fucked up really bad because one of them was moving without troopers touching it. Like they
Oh,
just
no.
forgot to add them in CG.
See, and that may be the repulsor. What has the lights on it may just be the mechanism they're using to levitate the coffin, and it may just because the audio lady called them coffins.
Oh,
I
did she?
fucking adore that man. I'm sorry. I really fucking adore him.
I do too. Just you see, when it's the chest up, he's super
See
intimidating.
there on the right, I guess it looks like it's built into the thing, but
Repulsors, yeah.
maybe it's just repulsors. God, these troopers move even slower than normal. There you go. Right
Because they're
there.
dead,
Stop.
bro.
Yeah, I mean they just
They're on low power mode.
Yeah,
so
it's
they
like
get to
it's like
vacuum
it's like a carbonite thing. It's like a carbonite.
So I guess you're right. I guess what makes the most sense because he has no need to bring any amount of his own crew back with him because he probably believes, and Morgan may have reinforced already that there is Imperial remnant waiting for him.
Well,
Right.
there's clearly a deal going on between him and the Great Mothers. That's why they're helping him so much. So he's
And by the way,
clearly
did you
going to
guys-
help them.
Did you guys notice all the time they spent on the hangar? The fact here that they got those LAATs, that the TIE fighters are perfect.
The ties
right?
hanging was fucking.
He still got his
Everything is
shit.
matte. Everything is
Yeah, but why are
matte.
the ties in perfect condition and the troopers are fucking held together by red twine?
No one's
Because the
using-
ties are a
no one's
mechanical
using them.
thing.
No one's who's using them. There's no reason to use them.
So then why are the troopers fucked up?
Well, I think over wear and tear, and maybe they had some run-ins.
They have
With
no
the
resources
voting
to
and-
stay alive. They probably died from starvation.
So they were
or-
sending fucking squads of troopers out without air support? I'm sorry, sir.
No.
Bull fucking shit.
I don't know the answer to that. Maybe they stayed in, and the armor just degraded.
They should have started this episode with a flashback of what happened the minute Ezra and Thrawn landed on the planet. Did the Chimera crash land? Did a bunch of people die on impact?
Would be surprised if we don't see that by the
You
end
think
of
it's
this
coming
episode.
because it feels like
Yeah.
it would be misplaced in the next step. Not that
If
they
you're a
don't-
normie, how the fuck do you freaking understand why Ezra and Thrawn are on the same planet?
I think we
except
get
for
a
one
fucking
line.
monologue, dude.
Except
I think
for
we
one
get a
line
fucking
of-
monologue
Hold on,
from
hold on,
Thrawn,
hold on.
and he goes, "What happened?"
No, what I'm
Because-
finishing, what I was gonna say is all we have so far for the normie audience, not for us, so we've seen Rebels, but one line of dialogue from Jason. Oh, the same whales that took Ezra and Thrawn. That's all the normies know. They have to give some background as to why the freak Ezra and Thrawn are on this planet together.
Right.
Normies don't know a fucking thing about what's going on. Who's this blue guy? Why is there a fucking whale? And all of a sudden there's some Lego ass busted fucking Star Destroyer on some bitch fucking planet with some weird gray people? What the fuck is happening?
10 fucking years.
Well, you know the other theory that's been floating around that, as much as I'd like to think it's not true, may actually be true, is remember when Mando and Grogu were in hyperspace and Mando was asleep and Grogu saw the fucking whales. The speculation is that was the whale that Ahsoka was in.
So that takes the galaxy from being this big to this big. I hate
And the
that
reason
so much.
and the reason why Grogu had that reaction is because he felt that Ahsoka was.
Grogu had that reaction because they're fucking space whales in hyperspace. He's like, what the fuck?
So you're
What is
telling me
this?
that those two characters at that exact same time were headed in the exact same direction. One's going to a different galaxy, but this one's just jumping to a planet.
And the
They were in the exact same fucking space.
the
Get
only
the
reason-
fuck out of here.
The only reason why I'm afraid it could be true is at the time it seemed really weird that all of a sudden there'd be Purgle. Now, if you think about it in the context of this series, it seems less weird.
I think Filoni threw that in to Mando 3 because they were coming and he didn't want the audience to be too like whoa about it. Like it was slowly introducing the concept of them. To
Do you have
reveal
any
it as
idea
Ahsoka.
how many people didn't fucking notice a tentacled space whale?
Baby Yoda's like, what the fuck?
What the?
Am
Yeah,
I
so is
tripping?
everybody else. Like, what the fuck is that thing? I guarantee that does
I'm-
not have any bearing on what
My
we
problem
saw.
with that theory is that it just keeps making the galaxy smaller and smaller and
It is-
smaller.
But that's the MO of Disney Plus Star Wars. It's a small galaxy.
It's a
this is-
small galaxy after all.
And this series has done the most to try and make the galaxy
Expand
bigger,
it.
we
Mhm.
show up to a nondescript planet that could have been any planet in the galaxy we already knew about. It could have been Dathomir, right? They didn't even, as of yet, unless Balin goes around the corner and there's some weird something else, they haven't done anything to distinguish this galaxy from the one we're in.
No, it's completely the same.
Next
other than a bunch of
episode, we're
gold.
gonna see Din Djarin's starfighter land and Grogu hopping his ass over to freaking.
Oh, fuck you, please no. We gotta
I'm
hit a
done.
couple more super chats and we can be done. We've been on for almost 2 hours at this point. Randy Hawkins says Ezra will save both Sabine and Ahsoka, and KK will reprimand Filoni over it.
Listen, Ezra is not white, so he'll be around for a while.
Oh, thank God, we can use him for. We can use young Moses forever.
And he's good looking, so keep him around. We need more good looking men.
And I think he, for whatever reason, I think he makes it back.
I think
so
so too.
I have to, so if Ezra does make it back, and we assume making it back on a Purgle is totally played out at this point, he would have to go back with Thrawn somehow.
Or with Ahsoka on a space whale and Sabine.
Yeah, so let's not forget Ahsoka's gonna show up on fucking Peridium or whatever they called it, Perennium tomorrow.
Peridium.
But again, we assume that either Ahsoka goes back or she's enabled to go back. They stay together. They don't get separated, which is all completely possible. I just have this.
You think Balin and Shin stay there?
I do. I think at least Balin stays.
I don't think so.
Or Sabine
Randy
and
Hawkins for
Shin
another 5.
camp out together. Sorry.
Says the problem Sabine is keeping Ezra in the friend zone.
I will say this: the only moment in seeing Ezra that made me think of animated Ezra was when he told her, "I can't wait to go home," because that's what he tells them in the hologram, right? Am I mistaken?
Yeah. Well, and also I just saw Caleb suggested, and I guess it would be quite easy. I suppose it would be pretty easy to stow away on the Chimera. It's
That is
certainly
true.
not fully
That wouldn't be
staffed.
hard.
They
And
did
for
that
all-
in the EU.
For all we know, Ezra's going to show up on that Chimera. He's going to open a door, and his bedroom's going to be fucking.
Oh my God!
Can
Wait a
somebody
minute!
tell
Wait a
me where
minute!
the fucking Nogri are?
Mara Jade and Luke did that in the duology, if I'm not mistaken. They
Didn't they
snuck
sneak
aboard.
aboard?
For fuck's sake! Shut up, Kings.
So maybe Balin stays behind. Ezra and Shin sneak aboard. I mean, we'll see.
Anyway, the Sundowners Club for $4.99 says Thrawn crash landed near a
No.
Jack in the Box.
It's not a Jack in the
Hashtag
Box. It's
Dick
on this planet. On this
Thrawn.
planet, it's Nodi in a shell. In this planet, it's.
Oh,
it's
shut up, Matt.
Oh,
Shell.
Nodi in a shell station. Just eating escargot left, right, upside down, and sideways. Sundowners Club, I love you. Thank you so much, everybody, for the super chats. I love you. We'll do a little bit of a
You
dance.
said clipped. I forget I'm on the fucking internet sometimes.
The 49ers are winning, by the way. It's just an
Oh, I'm shocked. Yeah, I never
Shut
would
your
have thought
mouth.
that would have happened.
The 40
Oh, that's
lamers.
so weird.
40 lamers.
Oh, that's weird that they're championship contention team and are extremely talented. And,
Shut your
yeah.
mouth.
Nah, couldn't
Gay.
imagine that happening.
Gay.
I'm Nikki. I like the Dolphins.
Yeah, I never said I like them. I never said I like them. They have a lot of work to do, okay? They have a lot of work.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. I'm
Someone
sorry.
clip what
I
I
feel
said
bad
just
for anybody who's a Dolphins fan. You and Jay, you poor humans.
It's not by choice.
Yeah. I'm not a Niners fan by choice. I would have loved to pick like a not gay team, but that's my team. So
The 40 gayers.
So before we leave the topic, we didn't quite get to the end, and I just wanted to get you all's takes on Thrawn's reaction when he learns of Ahsoka coming. And
That's
the
right.
questions he asks and what we think
Yes.
that might mean
So the
for how he
canon,
deals with it.
the Disney canon trilogy of Thrawn, there's a really cringe book in the middle. I'll call it cringe because he teams up with Anakin on Batuu, right?
That's not a. Yeah, it is. He's at Black Spire Outpost. He's chasing Padme, and he teams up with Anakin.
So he knows
Thrawn
Anakin's
alliances.
So the question is, how is he going to react when he hears that Anakin was Ahsoka's master, someone that he was very fond of and respected and admired and knew was Vader?
Yeah, he already knew he was Vader.
He knew.
Well, I don't think he ever called him out on it, right? But he was strong.
He kind of did.
There was a moment where he tested him, and he's like,
Yeah.
I forgot what the line was, but he basically tells Vader, "I know who you are, Anakin," or Skywalker, or something like that. So that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, he knows exactly who the fuck Vader is when that happens. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really change much. I mean, he knows he's too fucking smart. He knows everything.
He's gonna use that to fuck with Ahsoka's head. And that's why we got the arc that we did with Ahsoka and Anakin, and we're gonna probably see Anakin again.
Twice more, I think. Well, twice more.
That's what I think.
Yeah, no, but see, this is different though.
Thrawn knew like a long.
Yeah,
it was
Thrawn kind of fucking knew like right off the bat.
And I give him a pass because he did spend time with Anakin
when he was a Jedi,
looking for Padme,
and then saw him again.
I'm actually Tarkin also knew. Did Yularen know? Yularen spent an awful lot of time with Anakin. Did Yularen know?
Everybody fucking knows at this point.
No. I mean, I knew Tarkin. Tarkin suspected. I'll have to look it up. I don't know about Yularen.
I don't know if Yularen knew. I don't think he did. Hopefully not. There's too many people that already know.
Yeah.
But Yularen and Tarkin didn't make it off the Death Star, right? So I mean, the only remaining person who would have still known potentially would be Thrawn.
So that's another question too. How does Balin know that he turned into Vader?
Well, so Balin did disclose that he actually saw the temple burn.
Yes.
So was he another
he was
one?
A general.
Was he another one who watched the tape? Did he witness Anakin? I'm not saying that Anakin necessarily spared his life or anything, but did he witness?
No, I don't think any of that. I think if you were a Jedi at the time and you knew like who could sack the fucking temple and burn it to the ground, like who's able to do that? There's really only like one guy that could.
Here's the thing that's always. Here's the thing that's always.
It wasn't Plo Koon, my guy.
Here's the thing that's always confused me about this a little bit, though.
Okay.
Kenobi goes back. He watches the security tape. He realizes, and Yoda too, right? He realizes that Anakin becomes Vader.
Yeah.
Then he leaves the message to stay away, and he never mentions it.
Here's something similar. Ahsoka and Rebels. Obviously, Rebels came out before season 7 of Clone Wars. But supposedly that's when she finds out that Anakin is Vader. But in season 7 of Clone Wars, Maul straight up tells her, hey, Skywalker is Palpatine's apprentice, basically.
Yep.
So that's another loose thread there.
100%.
So I mean, it's just so anyway.
Yoda also says, when I'm gone, the last of the Jedi you will be. And now we've got fucking 47 different Jedi running around.
Let's not go down that Yoda hole, right? But all I'm saying is there is an opportunity. If Balin was really there is an opportunity for him to have experienced it firsthand, and then he said, "All right, fam, I'm out. Fuck this. Shit just got real. See you never." And then he away.
Yep.
It's what Kramer said. Balin probably got stabbed in the stomach by Vader and lived, and he was able to.
This is where we're at. All right, we've been going for an hour and 58 minutes and 30 seconds. Guys, is there anything you want to say? We got to wrap this bitch up. I got to be work at 5 o'clock in the morning.
I think so this is funny, right? We were afraid that the stream would be too much. We hated it.
And then we like 2 fucking hours.
Like 2 hours, and I don't think we ever really said we hated it.
That's why I wanted to just focus on the questions and speculation, because it's like everybody already knows where we're standing.
I didn't hate it, clearly. I should.
No, look, here's the thing. There is shit from that episode that I will never forgive. This moron, idiot, dumbass said, I'm going to write into the script a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
It's David Tennant. Come on.
He's the guy who said the line, but the fucking moron who actually put it on paper is the person I hate. So
Well, then
whoever
it's
did that,
Dave
I hate
Filoni.
you.
It's only Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni put everything on paper. Dave Filoni
No, it's just like
decided
John
to put
Favreau.
that
He
in.
didn't write it, right? He didn't write it. He didn't actually write that. I did.
This guy doesn't even have a Noah. There isn't even
Oh.
a Noah here.
I'm sorry, really quick. We do have to hit one more. Imperial Buckethead, my brother with that beautiful Thrawn picture, just gifted another 5 X-Wing memberships. Before we go tonight, let's get some X-Wings and some hanger bays in the chat. Thank you, Imperial Buckethead.
When you said clipped, I forget I'm on the fucking internet sometimes.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, Imperial Buckethead. Love you much for that. Okay. Sorry, I interrupted.
Good to go. I think we did it.
I don't
Yeah,
have to give Tennant a break. I think he's incredible as Huge Wang.
Huge one.
I really like him.
Pootie Tang. Every time he
Pootie
calls
Tang?
him Pootie Tang, I just have to laugh.
No,
It's like,
I'm loving David Tennant as Huyang. He's
Again,
like
I-
he's in my protected species for this show.
I wasn't
know?
being facetious earlier when I said that I feel like he's one of the most well-developed characters in the series,
Yeah.
and we still have 2 more episodes, and I hope we see him interact with Chopper and C-3PO and
Yeah.
the whole 9 yards before
You
it's
could
over.
use him. You could. I love seeing all the X-Wings in the chat. Everybody, before I leave tonight, first off, I want you all to give a huge shout out to Matt Rissman and Nikki for taking their time to be here and entertaining the shit out of you guys and entertaining the shit out of me. God love you. And then to everybody else, I would say this: you bow to no man.
My friends. You bow to